Kindly greasy pole, and we don't dance round the maypole.
Okay, everyone. Good evening once again, and welcome to OUI Culture. It is a pleasure to be back. Of course, in recent times, we had quite a bit of interruptions, and so we back. We back to regular programming, and this evening, only Doc is with me for now. So, Doc, good evening and welcome. You with me there, Doc? All right, we should have that rectified in just a moment. But nevertheless, Doc, you hearing me now? Are you? Are you hearing me? Okay. All right. So I'm not sure what's happening here. We seem to be having a little issue. Doc, you're not coming in. I'm not able to pick you up. So let me see if I can get my guys to get that sorted out. And of course, We'll have things going in just a moment. All right. So, folks, this evening, any event we'll be discussing. We've only just celebrated Teachers' Day, and that was 2 days ago, and we thought this evening we can, pay some tribute and look back on some of, our memorable moments with our teachers in school. Over the years, there has been some teachers that has definitely touched our lives in different ways and have created some kind of impact. So definitely we're going to be looking at that this evening. But I tell you what, we will just take a quick break. We're just trying to sort out a little technicality here, and then we'll be back with you in just a moment. So stay with us, don't go away. We're back in just a moment.
Let we set it on fire. A little more calypso, forget the funk and the disco. A little more limbo, a little more shango. Kindly greasy pole, and we don't dance round the maypole. Raise it higher.
was ever a time to keep and stay healthy, it's now! We at Hills and Valley are here to help you take deliberate steps to maintain your health. We stayed true to maintaining the most comprehensive rates while stocking the widest range of medicines and health devices, including personal protective equipment. There are so many benefits shopping with us. You get great savings through discounts for senior citizens and reward cards for loyal customers. Ask about owning yours today. Visit us at Halifax and Grenville Street, St. George, Jubilee Street opposite the Grenville Bus Terminal, and at Hillsborough, Carrico. Our wholesale distribution on Halifax Street also stocks the widest range of pharmaceuticals. We are with you on the hills and in the valleys. We are Hills and Valley Pharmacy.
Mingle and Jingle coming soon to all GBN platforms.
Don't miss the new season of Interesting Grenadians on GBN TV and social media platforms from Wednesday, October 12th at 8 p.m. and every Wednesday until November 9th, featuring the Anya Chow Chung story, the Richard Duncan story, and lots more. It's Interesting Grenadians, celebrating our interesting and outstanding Grenadians at home and abroad. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on GBN, beginning October 12th. You won't want to miss it.
Raise it high up the ladder. Let we set it on fire. A little more color.
This is a message from the Ministry of Health. If you or a family member suspect that you may have contracted COVID-19 and are displaying symptoms, please immediately self-isolate at home. This means that you must also avoid all contact with other members of your household. Do not visit hospitals or health centers, as this creates the potential for further spread of the virus, and it puts additional persons at risk when you come into contact with them. Your best course of action is to call the COVID-19 hotline at 458-4787 or 538-4787, or contact your nearest health center or medical station. Once your information has been received, health officials will come to you. Help prevent the spread of COVID-19. This has been a message from the Ministry of Health.
Feel good tax. Remember, if you have flu symptoms, do the right thing and stay at home to avoid giving it to others. Remember, you can be infectious up to a week after developing symptoms, so rest up and take it easy.
Stop the spread of germs that can make you and others sick. Cover your nose and mouth with a tissue when you cough or sneeze. If you don't have a tissue, use your elbow. Wash hands often, especially after coughing or sneezing into a tissue.
Raise it high up the ladder. Let we set it on fire. A little more calypso, forget the funk and the disco. A little more limbo, a little more shango.
Okay, welcome back, folks. I think we have been able to rectify the little issue, so we're back. And of course, we welcome all our viewers on GBN TV, our listeners on K105 FM, our viewers on the Facebook page and YouTube channel. We welcome you, and we're ready to go. Doc, good evening and welcome.
Yes, good evening and good evening to all the listeners outside.
Yes.
Sorry for the technical glitch. I don't know really what was really happening on my end.
Well,
But-
I mean, those things
But
happen.
at least we are here.
Yeah, definitely. Those things happen sometime. Everything has its little drawbacks, and I guess that's one of them that pops up from time to time. So, this evening, well, the way things looking, it look like we're on our own tonight.
That would not be the first time.
Well, definitely not.
So we are here again, but unfortunately, I wish at least we would have one or two of the other colleagues joining us shortly.
Yeah, I know Reece is experiencing some serious internet issues, and Scholar did indicate that he may not be able to join us this evening. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. Hopefully, let's see if things are gonna work in our favor, and then we're gonna have them on. If not, then we do what we gotta do. And tonight, very interesting. Only Wednesday we celebrated Teachers' Day. That is very significant. But Doc, strangely enough, I can't recall hearing about that before. I mean,
no, it's a new one for me. But no, I think it's actually Wednesday was supposed to be Teachers' Day. They because of the weather, they actually had it today on SAS grounds.
Yeah, they had the
they had the activity there today. So we are, I guess they were waiting for us.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you, the thing about it is teachers and the whole teaching profession plays, one of the most significant roles in our upbringing. And of course, once we're talking upbringing, then, our culture comes into play in a major way. So, there is that solid connection. So, we want to look at some of maybe the memorable moments. And as I said earlier, I'm sure for every one of us who attended school, be it primary, secondary, even at the university level, there's somebody, a teacher, a lecturer, somebody who somewhere along the line we may have created a bond with. And that person, you go on to always be close to that individual.
Well, definitely. And one of the things I observed lately, Godfrey, is that the teachers before, I don't know if we have many around these days. Well, with the number, there would always be wonderful persons. There would always be brilliant, teachers. Persons that want to give their life to students to make sure that they turn the world. But I went back when we decided we were doing this. I went back into what I call my headspace. Little boy going to school. And the teachers, they seem like this walking library. They were our first step in getting a chance to see what we would then call the world, this outside world. Is there the one is like they open up our brain and start painting pictures and start putting things inside there. And it is because of them we start having a greater appreciation of the wider world among us, or the plants and what it means, the birds, the rivers. We start getting meaning for everything, and we start being able to put meaning to those things and them that we were just not able to understand. So the role of teachers, one should never underestimate, and particularly in this time where we find where at one time the old adage you was saying that it took a village to grow up a child. I'm not so sure if that is true anymore, because the parents around us, some of the parents they seem to need some teaching.
Some teaching.
Yeah.
No, of course.
Yeah. And so it is when the children go, sometimes they get the first chance to say thank you and please, and they really get acculturalized in the school. So more and more for us to survive this next century or this next 50, 60 years, we need to invest a lot in our teachers, and we need to show a lot of appreciation for the work that the teachers have been doing in terms of bringing up the nation's children. And it doesn't matter what profession you are in or you're planning to go to. It's always a teacher that have to start that process. So our education system is vital, but the people behind it, the people that go beyond the curriculum, the regular curriculum, these are the people that usually make or break or can make a difference in our life. I mean, most time it is positive, the effect they have on us. So I think hands off to all the teachers for those that play a wonderful role. And I know a few names would call just now, those wonderful teachers that have been able to influence us one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. And I want to just go back a bit because you touch a little bit on the education and things like that. But I just went back to Tivoli School. And I can clearly recall when you went to school before you started class. You should remember that, Doc. We had to put our hands on the table, and the teachers would examine our fingernails to make sure your fingernails clean. All of these things. They would look at your hair. And so there was, aside from the education and information that they imparted from the books and all of that, there was the other side where they actually played the role of the parents. So it is so significant. I mean, and saying hats off is probably an understatement, because when you seriously consider the role that teachers have played and is still playing, definitely it is worthy of a Teacher's Day. Definitely worthy of a Teacher's Day.
Definitely. And I think right now I would want to start calling some names, because I remember Rosamond Joseph was the principal.
Well, let's go back a bit, because remember, she was lovingly known before as Miss John.
Miss John, yes.
Miss John, that's how most of us remembered her. In our time, there are children maybe after us who would not know who Miss Joseph was.
Right.
They know Miss John.
Right.
Yes.
Miss John, yes. I mean, she held a school. I heard of other principals, but she held a school in such a way. And one of the hallmarks, not because she was more educated than everybody else. And that is one of the difference I find that is cropping into our system these days. I see persons that are going to school, that getting qualified, and the only criteria they seem to be choosing some of those persons is because of the so-called academic background.
Yeah.
And this to me is really not helping our nation children. So what make those teachers that leave that mark on us are those teachers that went beyond, not just because they were bright, as we would say, but those teachers that went way above and beyond that call, that shows that humanity. So when we started with primary school, I remember Miss John, and she, every aspect of life, she wanted you to excel in.
Oh, yes.
Be it hygiene, be it safely crossing the road, be the academic in sports. And you remember the many plays, the many activities,
the concerts,
concerts and choir. And she was almost always hands-on in everything. Hoping that we, can benefit. And everywhere she can push something, she push it for Tivoli School to be better, and for you as an individual to be better. So I think that is the character of we had of our good teacher. And then still stayed in Tivoli School. I remember this man they used to call Mark. I think it's Everton.
Mr. Mark from Montrose. Mr. Mark. Yeah, man.
And Mr. Mark was famous for going and meet all those wayward boys who used to run away going Canhook, and Mr. Mark would find them out and bring them to his home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and Mr. Mark did not spare the rod at all.
No, he was a serious. He did not
spare the rod. And hats off to Mr. Mark, he never spared the rod. But what the children remember, not that they got licks from Mr. Mark, but the love that he showed and the care that he wanted to uplift those children that came from, disadvantaged homes, those that, whole homes that children barely could afford the slippers to go to school with. And Mr. Mark would go and, get his exercise. And wants to show any kind of sense of appreciation or gratitude, you actually stayed by Mr. Mark. So I remember one guy, one named Nathaniel Francois. Stayed by Mr. Mark and some of these other guys who, if it was not for Mr. Mark, those persons definitely probably might have been turning out something else. So, you go back and you look at some of the characters of those teachers before, and it was not the academic credential that made them good, or say best teachers, but it was that sense of character, that humanity, that sense of community that they brought to the fore. So, when we throw that out and choose teachers just because they are academic, I think we're defeating the purpose, because we need people that care about community. Probably in the church, they're in a church group, in a community group, in something, anything. We need teachers that are involved. So, something I am wearing a new t-shirt, Godfrey. I just tried. I find myself for some comedy program.
You get uniform?
I get uniform. I don't know if other person get uniform coming with this dark. What kind of dark blue thing? What going on, Godfrey?
You know, in school, you have some children. They head hard. They doesn't listen. they don't behave bad. So they don't obey. They always have to do their own thing. So sometimes they have to get like a punishment. Right? You're calling them, they don't answer. You're talking to them, they don't listen. So you have to punish them. Anyway, folks, let's say good night to Big Ten. I usually call him. What are you doing, partner?
How do you do? Jamming.
You jamming?
Jamming. Jamming and watching all you, and I don't understand how Doc get this pretty gabardine.
That gabardine.
This nice pretty gabardine jersey. Now gabardine.
No, man.
Terry Lynn, you become a
Terry Lynn, boy.
Terry Lynn. I know that get out Terry Lynn. And who me are today in black. Nah. I stage in our one man.
Hold on. You union didn't negotiate for you.
You're union. You used to pay union dues.
You don't pay union dues.
Union no matter with me. Yeah. But don't worry, man. I will walk the rule.
You know that again. Don't try that. I'll walk the rule done.
I'm bringing it back.
Mr. Prez say, I'll walk the rule done. Anyway, uniform they're waiting for you. Whole little day people trying to find you to give you uniform and you don't answer your phone.
Okay.
That's your problem.
Well, thanks in advance.
Well, we had to give Skulls some kudos to, because he says he's always a teacher. But we know he can't teach again.
Well, the truth is that I am late, and I possibly could not have made it, because Teachers' Day has been celebrated right in Saturday, and so I come out and fellowship with my fellow teachers, because as you said, once a teacher, always a teacher, but that doesn't pertain to you and Doc.
Oh,
why not?
You are Doc not teacher again, right?
Wait, is that a contradiction? Isn't that a contradiction?
No, once a teacher, always a teacher, but not for you and Doc.
So we never thought.
Doc, don't answer that. Doc, don't bother with him about that. Don't bother with him about that.
According to them ABC children, I don't know teacher. I don't know teacher again.
So, Doc, don't answer that. Don't answer that, Doc. Don't bother with him. We'll catch him. We'll catch him in due course.
Yes.
Yeah, but Doc, how long you thought for?
But 4 years.
You thought for 4 years?
Yeah.
And you got leader free?
4 months.
Nah, man, right.
Yeah.
I was that.
4 months, yeah. And then I went away after that. That is still long.
4 months and you teach how much place? You teaching car?
No, that's the only place I teach. Where's I teach?
Only car you teach?
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, I teach for long.
The man go overseas to teach for 4 months. No, there's a traveling professor.
No. I left. No, I left.
Anyway, what are you talking about, man?
Talking about teachers, man. Well, of course, we're celebrating with teachers. I mean, the significant role that they play. Doc was just highlighting, some of the roles and how important a role teachers play. I mean, and I kind of added not just the educational aspect of it, but they went so much more. They did so much more. I mean, they went way beyond. And I was telling him, I remember in Tivoli School in the morning when you go, you had to put your hands on the table. And they would pass around, sometimes with like a ruler, to make sure your fingernail clean. So they were also concerned about your hygiene, and your hair had to comb and all this kind of thing, So
I mean, and even now, the role of teacher has sort of changed. Well, not changed, but it's not as profound probably as you would have had it years ago, but still, teachers are expected to be doctors, lawyers, nurse, magician. Everything that you could think about, every single profession, a teacher is supposed to be that. And he's supposed to be that even better than the people who are in actually the profession. When a child lose something like somebody thief, the teacher had to be police, and police can't find who thief the thing, but the teacher had to find out who thief the thing. Yeah. Right? And it is very sad though that as time has progressed, well, maybe not sad, but the truth is that we have evolved, and the respect that the teaching profession had elicited in the past, when you and Godfrey and so on, we used to talk about all your big man up in SAS, crazy doing and so on. Sadly, that same kind of respect is no more. And I think we have spoken about it on our program before, that now you'll find parents and so on going in school to fix up teacher and them kind of thing. This kind of thing, and then wouldn't happen in our days. Well, as a matter of fact,
well, I was about to tell you that. I mean, I know of 1 or 2 cases where some parents went in school, but when they go there and they feel they go there to pull ranks, they had to leave with their tail between their legs, because teachers bad as so you can and you can't go and say, well, you're going by principal and principal supporting parents over teacher and this kind of thing. That never used to work.
That never used to work.
Let me ask you, you're still taking a break at that time?
Yeah, we're going to take it because we had our thing, we'll take it in a few minutes. When we finish that segment here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so by the times have changed, and in our day, when you see your teacher, you hide.
When they off school, you mean?
Yeah, man. When you do off school, you see your teacher, you hiding. This was like Papa God coming. But no way, children and teacher, children I see the teacher, they don't say howdy. they just go out their business.
But
so a lot has happened, and I don't think it can be doubted that teaching was more of a professional thing long ago than it is now. The professionality of teaching has diminished.
The appreciation for teachers was much greater. And so I agree with you. Teachers play a greater role. But I think along the way, maybe some of the selection process, and I was making that point, Scholar, before you came in, that every teacher, you said, embrace all the various professions. Psychologists, therapists, pastor, police, irrespective of what. So the teacher was expected to be there for the children in every sphere. And sometimes not the children, sometimes for the children's family because of that child. So the teacher knew what was taking place. It was an impossible thing for a teacher then to be teaching and not know that Scholar family cannot afford to send Scholar on a bus trip. That Scholar family probably is a little bit more well off. And so they're buying this nice shoe for you to go to school. Teachers knew what was taking place in the community. And so the interaction with children was serious knowledge based. But most teachers, as I said, they interacted with the child and the child, both family and community level. Lately, you find, since then, you find a lot of persons are chosen to teach, or to be principals, or to be area education officers, and they have no interaction with community, not even in a church group. At one time, it was something that was necessary. You had to be involved in something. And so the total embracing of that child, or the total development of that child, was aided nicely by the teachers, because they usually, they too were involved in something or the other. But you find a lot of persons then later get chosen to be teachers, and they have no connection, it seems like, with community, and they are chosen because of their academic credentials. And so they just go and they teach, not because there is a passion or something, or they feel a need to build, but it becomes a job. And I think so what you find happening, what's turning over now, are a lot of teachers that are not fully, while they are academically inclined and they are totally qualified academically, but on the other side, they do the work at 8 to 4, and they do like if they're a plumber and they go home, and have nothing to do with what's going back on the job thereafter. So we find we have produced a different kind of caliber of teachers that is not emotionally or connected to community and the overall development of the nation's children. That is my take. I don't know but that is what I'm saying.
You may find these cases, but I don't want you to ever believe that this is the norm. It's not. As a matter of fact, the opposite is the norm. There are a lot of teachers right now who are very conscientious, who care for children, children's welfare, they mind children. As a matter of fact, I have a wife there. I don't know what kind of thing is that. The among our children that pass through just our house. I mean, school children. When we used to teach in background college, sometimes I have 10 container packing in the morning, to go up. And it's not she alone. I can pinpoint many teachers that I've worked with who did that on a daily basis. I mean, outfit children, tie, skirt, short, and so on. Especially if you go there, they see they could play a little sport. And so I mean, a lot is different, but quite a bit has not changed.
Yes, I agree.
And I think in a lot of ways too, by the teaching profession, society itself has changed around the teaching profession. That I always wonder, Godfrey, I always wonder, Livingston, what would Rabo and Cressy and Ashby and all of legendary brother Judge and all those fellas on there, how would they have been now?
How would they survive?
Would they have survived with the same kind of technique that they used in the past? And I think the easy answer to that is no.
Well, Scholar, just take a pin quickly. Let me just say that. Last night, on my Release It program, a gentleman called and he was making, apparently he taught at TAMCC for many years, and he called complaining, and his complaint was, no, they are not interested in getting any teachers with some level of experience. All they want is young people, and he seemed to have a problem with that, because he doesn't feel that it should be straight down that line. There should be a mix of experience and youth and all of that. So, to ask whether people like Cressy and so how they would have survived, I have to agree with you. They definitely would not.
Yeah.
But so let's take our first break, and we're gonna come back in a moment. Stay with us, folks. Don't go anywhere.
Looking for expert in sounds, stage and lighting engineering? Double D Sound, song reinforcement and public address system, rentals for concerts, weddings, meetings, conferences, live shows, parties and crusades. Double D Sound. We also sell all types of musical instruments, accessories and replacement parts. You looking for intercommunication and programmable bell systems, especially for schools? Double D Sound. Looking for amplifiers, speakers, keyboards, matching drums, wind and percussion instruments, transistors and more. We rent stages of any size, concert stage, lighting, party, tents, tables, and chairs. Call Double D Sound, 405-9685. Hearing and feeling the difference. Double D Sound.
WeatherGuard Pro. For every project, there's only one Pro. When you need your prescription filled or you require non-prescribed medication, supplements, or all your personal needs, visit Gittins Healthcare at locations on Wall Street, Grand Anse, Victoria Street, Glenwood, and Central Deputy Street, Wall. Gittins Healthcare aims to provide an exceptional personalized pharmacy experience. Additionally, children under 5 and adults 55 years and over will enjoy 10% discount on purchases of $20 and over on prescription medication. Stop settling for less. Visit Gittins Healthcare, where your health is our priority.
Raise it high up the ladder. Let we set it on fire. A little more calypso, forget the funk and the disco. A little more limbo, a little more shango. Kindly greasy pole, and we don't dance round the maple.
Okay, welcome back everyone. It's Week Culture, and of course again we have to shout out many of our friends on our Facebook platform, our friends in Canada and the US and all over where you are. It's always a pleasure to have you. Tonight we're celebrating teachers. And so before we get back into discussion, let me just see if I can pull up, Doc, a couple of the Facebook comments. All right, well, early some folks greeting us, good night. And someone is telling us that one of our friends died. I heard someone called last evening to tell us that. Our good friend, my lord from Kushu. All right, so let's get down. Someone is saying again they just learned that explainer has died. Yes, today. Yeah, it happened today. So Doc, our good friend Dodo is telling us that there's a special teacher who was famous for the ruler, and that's in Tivoli School, I figure. So I tried to find out which one, but she didn't respond yet. All right, Ernesto is saying good night. Guys, well, Guavarian is out tonight, maybe still on the bay pulling net for a Charlie. I know he's a Charlie. Alright, Cynthia is saying, better believe that it is not an easy profession. You have to really want and be able to cope with the different roles, very demanding. And so he's saying, well, in going to school was great, but there was some bad apples teachers who had your best interest as well as those who didn't care, and abusing some of the students who had to leave school at an early age, while those who knew your parents give you the hardest time to see that you're successful. Scholar, why most of the male teachers always end up in a rum shop after school? Sorry, you answered that just now. So Gloria is saying, good evening. You guys have it so correct. Teachers were doctors, nurses, mothers, fathers, police. Yes, scholar, children of yesterday will still say miss or sir when they meet you. Mr. Wall, someone is making reference to Mr. Wall at GSS. Yes, I remember Mr. Wall at GSS. One of the things I can highlight being in school was reading and math were very important to the teachers than other subjects that was taught. And someone is, well, Dodo is asking where is Reece tonight. Reece is having some internet issues, but she's looking on. She's looking on and having a ball of a time. So that's some of the comments so far. So Scholar, yeah, my man want to know why.
That is an interesting observation, you know, and
well, let me tell you, as I read that, about 10 names come in my mind one time, you know.
I tell you, that real man, yeah, set up teacher, one year in school over, almost next man. I was in the rum shop, but I think Mr. X would have sung a calypso at time. And he said why teachers used to do that. Remember the licks?
The licks, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because not teachers alone. Those are hard professions. Mm-hmm. And in order to cope, teachers, police.
Well, let's talk about police.
When you see thing wrong and the system get rough and teaching young children rude and whatnot, you take it out on the class.
You listen. Blows in the clothes.
So, yeah. And the truth is, it still happens today.
Yeah?
Yeah, man, you have a lot of rum teachers.
Young fellas drinking rum and thing?
Young fellas, yeah, a lot of young rum teachers. Don't believe it's a thing of the past. I think the thing is that it's less prevalent now.
I think so.
Plus that, seeing a teacher drinking rum before, I mean, teacher is a man that you so reverence and respect. When you see a teacher, when you see a side in the rum shop, I mean, come on. But maybe if you see a side drinking a rum now, you may not bother. But by, I guess maybe it's the rigors of the job. So they don't take it out of the alcohol. I don't know how dark feel, but
dark. But hold on. Let me ask Tovalu. Let me ask Tovalu a question. Tovalu teach longer than me. You teach for a set 10 years. Doc teach for 4 years. Doc, how much time you go in a rum shop after school?
You know, one of the first things I remember going to teach at a committee in government.
Yeah, I know.
And I had somebody like a cousin, name was Lynette. Mm-hmm. and she's Lynette George, and she said to me, Livingston, X, Y, and Z. Every time school over, they go in the rum shop. Livingston, I don't want you in that.
In Hobbit school?
Yes. You know, you had a few teachers that were very famous.
Yeah, I know them. X, Y, and Z.
So, but I never really liked, drinking rum in that way, and I never thought that any drug or alcohol should have control over me. So
those X, Y, and Z never really like rum.
Don't even they like rum.
Until they have to teach you.
But actually, you're right, because I mean, but I don't know if it's X, Y, or Z.
So Scala, which rum shop you used to go into? You didn't used to have the pressure didn't used to have you in teaching too?
Nah. I used to do other things. I used to find other ways around, but I mean, I don't know. Don't believe X, Y, and Z like rum.
I mean, well, it depends. You see, it depends on who is X, who is Y, and who is Z. It depends on the place.
But on a serious note, I am. I don't know. Scholars be just sitting there. I am. For me, the short time I stayed, at some time, the pressure get onto you. But boy, children had a way, or children still have a way, I believe, where they used to compensate. They will bring a little mango, a little this, sometimes they hold your bag, based on your relationship with them. And I mean, teaching in Grenada, the reward was never really the money, never the money. For matter of fact, I believe teachers are still basically underpaid. But that extra love sometimes when you are in a process and you're doing a good job, and it's very easy to point out in a school, those teachers that are actually doing a good job. Some child must bring you a guava, a mango, a water lemon. Sometimes they want to bring, I remember my teacher said a child bring a chicken leg, a chicken wing, a fried chicken wing as a gift. So from home, children always seem to want to reward you because when you show them, love, when you go beyond that just the academic. So there was a level of reward, I would say. So I don't know if that used to get into Scala or some of the other teachers. I believe some of those teachers, and then they come in, they meet that with some of the male compatriots, and they just follow suit as a fashion. But that is my take. Some would do it because I guess they had a start before.
But I also believe, you see, there are some things there, and Scholar is right in more ways than one. With the fact that it's not a case where, and we mentioned X, Y, and Z like rum. Now they're drinking it, but there was a other side to it. That there were some things that were done that sort of separated you from children or young people kind of thing. So for example, like growing up, I remember a time me and my brother, we want to play big man, so we go in the back and we get a little them little cane thing when you dry, you go up in the air.
You can light it.
Yeah, and we light it and we smoke it because we feel we big man, but we can't smoke cigarette, but we smoke it, but that makes us feel big. The point I'm making is there was a time when people who drank, they were adults. So, for example, drinking was a big people thing. Smoking was a big people thing. And that has changed. Now, I don't know, and I cannot say that in the case of people, of teachers and so who went in rum shop, maybe that was one of the things where some people went in and they just fall in line. So, to sort of be part of the crowd. I mean, I'm just throwing it out. But it was something that, along with, a sort of separation kind of thing, Right. But, Doc is right with the sort of bond that was created between children and teachers. And even now, you hear parents even attest to that, where their child or children would come home and then they would talk a lot about, oh, you know, mommy missed this and missed that, and teacher this and teacher that and teacher that, and there's this bond, and these statements are made about particular teachers, and out of how much, you know. So I think Doc is right based on how, you know, they relate to children and how, you know, there is a difference.
But when we go to the break next time, we probably might, when we come out from the next break, we might take more calls. So I just wanted to make a few comments because I think it's very important. And Scholar kind of bit me to it when he mentioned Cresswell Julian. Now, if you look at Cressy, I don't know if children were looking forward to that Cressy would make them pass more subjects or plenty subjects. Because Godfrey went to SAS and you know that's not so at all. You go to Cressy class and I don't know how much you would learn on the academic, because Cressy used to do Bible studies. Maybe one.
You ever do Latin? You ever do Latin with Cressy?
You might cover one chapter or one Bible verse, because he going around and talk about he and he critique and he talk about everything else and about patience and about life. You see, so, but people and a lot of SAS persons, people that went to SAS, talk about Cressy because the humanity, the chances, the fairness, the value, the character he tried to inject in you, the small things he'd point out. So Cressy was about building character, about building a school, about building an institution, about letting you recognize your worth in a lot of persons, in generally not a very direct way. I mean, I believe as a little boy at some time, I mean, when I go from 1, from 2, I thought that Cressy was the worst principal in the world. By the time I reached Form 5, I thought he was the best thing ever, you know, and you kind of respect the man, even though, you know, it was not about the strap, it was not about his academic, but it's the character. And then I also must take note of this other teacher that was extremely loved in SAS. And today, I mean, every time I need some serious counsel, you know, to chew an idea, to double check some idea, I go to him. That is Eric Donald. And Eric Donald, he was like this person that glued. He was like this psychologist. He was like this, this philosopher. Eric Donald, you know, he knew so much. He seemed like about life and life experiences. And so, you know, and I believe when people talk about the teachers, there is always this common thread that teacher, that person go beyond that call of duty. It was not just about academic. It had to be something else, something more that endear you to that teacher, that make you look up to that person and always admire and respect that person.
No, definitely. Well, Reece has finally joined us. Reece, welcome. I know you've been battling.
Yes. It's good evening to everyone. It is sort of like, Coran go, and you wait a while, and then Coran come back. Yeah, so Coran come back.
Very good.
Reece Georgie too.
Yeah.
Here is that.
So you get left?
Yes.
Oh, you know GT?
Legitimacy dog.
Oh, you're that outcast?
Now, Reece, we tell him already. You know, he has some children in school.
He's a marble that cause zero. You should behave yourself.
You know, he has some children in school. He has to behave himself. They always get in trouble.
Yeah, you should have behaved
Yeah. Get a punishment.
I don't know if Mr. Marshall to put that 2 on him.
Well, hold on. I was just waiting after the second break to bring Mr. Marshall here because I know he has Mr. Marshall. Yeah. Mr. Marshall was the favorite teacher.
2 things he can handle, you know. Alexi get him the Rajgra and Alexi get from Mr. Marshall. Right? 2 things he can handle.
But the truth is that Mr. Marshall is not the man beat me the most in school. No, and that is a fact. We had and I think I tell you that diary. We had a grade 6. Well, those days was standard 6. We had a standard 6 teacher called Mr. Raybon. That was the most notorious, and I understand his father was a teacher. father was a fella that always teary, but he was not a teacher, but a principal at some time for year. And everybody afraid him to beating parents, going down the road. He beating anybody you see. And this guy, I don't know if you take this kind of rapist from his father. Because that's how we used to call him. We used to call him rapist.
Yeah.
And I could never forget. I could never just forget that. First day I stepped in rapist class. Rapist tell us to draw like a map. So like a map of grade, that kind of thing. Boy, and we get one of them like a twist and them. He said, draw what you see. But you know, he has so much art twist.
Yeah, eventually when you go in by St. David's, okay, I
just some twist. But what? My next thing I get some ruler. And the man tell me erase that. But I forced them ahead of order. I don't know what
you mean by that.
I can't, don't know, sir. I don't know what to do. And by closing me knuckles.
But that you can blame Mama? You can't blame Mama. Now you're not weak, sir.
I'm not strong.
What's that one?
And is a girl sitting close to me. They call Janice. You see, that thing I planted in the head. She failed become an entrance the year before. So she repeating this standard 6. So she must be know about erase and all those kind of high follow through that time that use. So she tell me by erase.
Rub it off.
Rub off. And that blows that. Tears, they all in me like a lead. And when she tell me that I rub off the thing by, you know, if he's turn and he be the girl.
You have to stop that.
But I need, let me walk it out for myself. So if she didn't tell me that, up to now, I'm in my
still getting licked.
Because I don't know what it is. It licks. So up to now, my guy still getting licked.
Yeah, but rabies doesn't stop that kind of thing.
By rabies was that kind of man by, and anybody who went to Shanty Miller RC school around my time will tell you that rabies was a famous character. I mean, fellas used to leave going to school, and when they remember rabies, they'll be waiting for them.
Going back home?
How can an ill man taking you? You
get sick.
You open and lie down. You can make it.
That's trauma.
But Doc, Tivoli School, we didn't have no famous teachers that was into this beating. I mean, yeah, you used to get licked, but I can't recall any teacher in Tivoli that wasn't a bit strict like that.
Those teachers are the most strict as a whole, so I don't think there was just one tyrant.
Yeah.
But you couldn't escape Rudolph, Kachi, Trapper. Ferguson was not so bad. Mr. Mack was probably the worst in all of them during our time. They was strict.
You know, there's something I want to raise, but let's just take the final break and then we're gonna come back to it. So stay with us, folks. We take a break and we come back.
Have you heard about the new Softweave bathroom tissue with total hygiene? As hygiene and safety have taken center stage, our bathroom tissue is now manufactured with 3 different technologies to offer the best protection for you and your family. UVC light technology for a safe and effective disinfection process, eliminating 99.9% of microorganisms. Also, production at high temperatures, killing all types of germs and bacteria. And it's pH controlled with delicate fibers to prevent irritation for even sensitive skin. Softweave Total Hygiene Bathroom Tissue. Available in supermarkets and shops island-wide. Visit Softweave Caribbean Facebook or Instagram pages for more information.
Hubbard's is adapting to the times to enhance your shopping convenience with its new online store. You can now shop for appliances, hardware, houseware, builder's material, and still enjoy free delivery island-wide. Start Start shopping now at www.hubbardshardware.gd. Safe, convenient, reliable. Hubbard's. Quality service, affordable prices.
When a loved one passes on, we all need the comfort, support, and guidance of a trusted friend. You can rely on LaCour Brothers Funeral Home. We provide a personalized professional service that exceeds all expectations. Our dedicated staff responds to your every need with the greatest detail, ensuring affordability with a variety of options. Our upgraded state-of-the-art facilities, spacious air-conditioned chapel with live internet streaming, a modern, environmentally safe crematorium, the only of its kind on island, private viewing spaces, large on-site repast center, a modern transportation fleet. Join our burial society today and make personalized arrangements for that final moment as you prepare to enter your loved one into eternal rest. Visit or call LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and select a package that brings added comfort to the entire family. LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and Burial Society, continuing a tradition of excellence.
Whether you're shopping for hardware, building materials, and appliances, Hubbard's Building Supplies at Grandans is the place to shop. With improved facilities, increased parking, wider variety of products, and a trendy and spacious layout, catering for all your shopping needs. Why wait? Visit Hubbard's Building Supplies today. Now open Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Hubbard's. Quality service, affordable prices.
Raise it high up the ladder. Let we set it on fire. A little more calypso. Forget the funk and the disco.
Welcome back, everyone. It's We Culture. We celebrating teachers. Yes, indeed. Reece, let's take a couple of the Facebook comments, as quite a few came up there, and then we would go to a little bit more chat and then open our telephone lines. Reece with us? I think look at Reece Curran gone again. Yeah, he looked as we lost the again. Alright, let me just see if I can while we wait, let me see if I can pull up a couple. So Reece back?
Yeah.
Okay, right, yeah. We was wondering if you're current gone again, you know. So
current went again.
So let's see what comments we have on Facebook, and then we would go to the telephone line after.
Okay. I heard you mention something. You want to tell me where Jose and all the problems there, the bad apples, you spoke about that?
Yes, yeah, I mentioned that.
Okay, so
there was an interesting one from him though. Apparently somebody told me you're going and go and pull net for Jolly. Who Jolly?
Yes, and as I just responded to him, I want him to know that he and his family benefited enough, and they got enough enlightenment from Gov for him to know what a Jolly is. And yes, I got Jolly and I got the whole boat too. So don't worry about me, Jose.
What is Jolly?
Jolly is Jacks.
Let he come and tell you what is Jolly.
But Doc, you hear that fella in Tivoli is called Jolly?
Yeah.
Jolly is Jacks, and we had bring that Tom Jolly down in Guab.
What do you mean that? You know what, Ashmi? You read Dodo Charles' comment?
I think one. She has quite a few of them.
Okay, so I can start from there?
Yeah.
Gloria Lambert?
Yeah.
No, I heard you read Gloria Lambert. So Jose is saying one of the things I can highlight being in school was reading math. Were very important to the teachers than others. Okay, I think you read that one as well. So let me just go down to Jenny Purcell, sorry. Oh, you read Jenny Purcell already?
Did I?
The system is the cause of all that. While you're teaching the children to do the right thing by spanking them with a ruler, they call the police for you and say it's child abuse. So teachers don't care if the children interested in school, then they will learn. Michael is saying, how about teacher Bedro? The best? Dodo said yes, and the girls used to wash some of the teachers' lunch containers. Godfrey, you and the doc should know of a few teachers that had their favorite students. Y'all sound like y'all are favorite students, man. Dodo is also saying religious study was always fun with Mr. Julian. And Jose is saying, like, Guelph, the only place in Grenada where Quran's still going. Why I can't move there anymore without a generator? You just stay where you are. You know, for your family come and infiltrate already. Gloria is saying male couldn't take the workload associated with teaching. Check the ratio of male, female teachers even up to today. Male to female teachers even up to today. Dodo is saying, like, your knuckles damaged from that lash arula you got. Now we know. Carl is saying some teachers used to beat just for exercise. Dodo is saying, I believe a lot of teachers used to come to school with their issues and sometimes the children used to pay for it. Jenny is saying, boy, you cannot beat children anymore. They call it child abuse. I got plenty licks in school too. She's also saying, boy, scholar, you have me laughing. Erase that. Gloria is like, I learned my timetables by force because of the belt I was afraid of. After lunch, religiously, may her soul rest in perfect peace. Doc and Godfrey, you all forgot the one that used to pelt chalk behind students. One time he pelt a stick of chalk and hit my sister in her face. He always used to call children your monkey. Dodo said, well, why only in Guelph Quran going so? Dodo, don't join Jose now. Khadija is saying, good night, We Culture family. Reece, mommy landline is down. She said she waited in Flo to come fix it. She's viewing on TV, so big up until the phone is back. Hi, second mother. Good to know that you're viewing. And you and I seem to be having problems with the same network.
Like more like child.
I remember when I was in scholarship class and had to show how I got an answer for a math problem, and my teacher was holding the belt over my head and I was so nervous. I got the answer wrong and he beat me from the front of the classroom to the back of the classroom. That's good for you. Carrie Grenade said, I literally lived in fear of my teachers in Woburn Methodist School. Teachers were synonymous with fear. That's the comments.
Doc, the one about teacher pelting chalk, I remember that very, very, very well. And let me tell you something. He's straight. That's Mr. Mark. Mr. Mark.
Yeah.
But actually, interestingly, I never really went to Mr. Mark class.
Neither do I.
Because Mr. Mark is a teach standard 5. They skip me from standard 4 to standard 6. So Mr. Mark. So I never felt the wrath of Mark.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me see. On the WhatsApp platform, someone said in my primary school days there was a headmaster who they say that when he and his wifey had the disputes, he take out the rage on the students. But on the other hand, there was a real and genuine teacher called Mr. John Isaac, aka Stomach. He was a teacher. So good night, Stomach, if you're still around. Hats off to you. Someone is saying also... Right, no. Hanaway and Mr. Braveboy were teachers who give you a good beating in my time. Also, Mr. Vivek. I'm referring to Tivoli RC. Yeah, I know of Mr. Vivek. Actually, when I went to primary school in Tivoli, just as I entered primary, that's about the time when they just completed building Hermitage. Yeah, and so Mr. Vivek moved to Hermitage, and then Miss John took over. So I remembered Mr. Vivek there. Mr. Braveboy, that was catchy.
No, there was a Brave Boy before. There was a Brave Boy before.
There was a Brave Boy. Okay.
Yeah, before
Kachi. Okay, all right. Yeah, I don't know. I know about Mr. Hanaway. So Hanaway is to live in the back by
us.
Yeah.
Are you there?
Yeah, in the back dog live after the bakery. Opposite Mr. Amba.
Yes. So Godfrey, don't forget to take some calls. A few people.
Yes. Well, we were just trying to complete. But scores, you didn't say anything yet. So come in and then we will take. We'll invite our callers.
One thing I have to say, and I think Doc said much of it. All of those bad man, notorious kind of fellas that used to beat and do all kind of thing, and they were feared because they were what you call men. And just yesterday, me and two co-workers, we were having a very same conversation, and we were referencing the Ashby and the brother George and them fellas and them. And one thing about these guys, though they were this way, but they had a humanitarian touch to them that students always remember. I mean, one of the guys went to GBSS and he was telling about Ashby. Although Ashby was notorious there, but Ashby would pay for a student to do exams if the student didn't have money and the parents didn't have money. That's the kind of man that he was. But those stories you didn't hear. I don't know, Ashby was a kind of man, Ashby say, your man, notorious guy. But these guys always had, I mean, you hear stories of Brother Judge that will make you laugh till you get weak. Oh, Brother Judge, you know, he ruled with an iron fist, but he was also a very, very humanitarian. I mean, he gave of himself to his students. And, you know, there was, especially if you're an athlete, because I think what happened with Brother Judge, or if he gave young men and young women a chance, a second chance. He was big on second chances because I think he was the recipient of a second chance. He never had a secondary education, right? But what happened, he used to go painting, I think in Shaper School, and anytime he paint the PP, when the teacher teaching, and he say, man, come on, man. And so he gets subjects and go bitter to teach them. And then he became principal there. So he understood that. And because of that, he brought all fellas that probably couldn't make it in the school already. Once you could play sport, he went and he got you. People always said, Brother Jack, just go and pick up all of Shaman. With them to play football and all this kind of thing. And you know, there was that notorious...
The whole hurricane team.
There was a whole story. They say Brother Judge, he had a boss, and Brother Judge, you know, when you drop go out now to go in Brothers of Days, a nice trek. So Brother Judge going up with his boss boy, packed with children. And when Brother Judge swing a corner, Brother Judge see one of his bad footballers walking up. Brother Judge stop the bus. But I put on one. You can't leave our old star.
You can't do that.
And you take the old star too. So once you put a play sport, I mean, you always had, but he was this kind of fella. I mean, when you think and this thing on them is true. Brother George was the coach of all the
sporting disciplines.
All the sporting disciplines, he was the coach. And they said there was once in our football game, you know, Brother George make a sub, and he put in a guy. And when he put in a guy, all them supporters, all them children back, Brother George, you mad? That man no good, I would put a man in. Brother George say, boy, me I put him in, you know. I could take him out.
Just take him out.
That was the kind of stories, you know. I mean, I don't talk about Chris, but George was a notorious.
No, I mean, I could relate to it because, Doc, you remember, some of us, we couldn't go and say we kicking ball and this guy thing and in the past.
I mean, just before you break, let me just say, as Carlos said,
break down.
Okay, you're right. Just before the call comment. I remember, I mean, of course, I was big on track and field for SAS in particular. But I went to play a football match I think it was the same in Guelph. A phone call came, we were just about to go on the field. And Chris said, man, don't let my athlete play no football, man. Take him out. I well dressed already on the field to just before the start, and I was removed because it was felt that my somebody might try to break my foot, but I'm better resolved.
Yeah.
So, and I think just equating your sentiment about sports and track and field, any good sports person that was not rude, because Cressy hated rude persons. Anybody that was a good sports person in SAS and was not rude probably could have gone to school for 5-6 extra years. Once they could play sport and this person was not rude. So
no, he was.
That's why they used to see all they bringing all kind of old man in intercall. That's why.
You know,
Godfrey.
Yeah. They couldn't be there. I remember Livingston, and that was something that really stayed with me a lot. When first time when I went character games and I came back, so I got 2 medals. The school we were still on Easter holidays. So I said, well, I didn't want to wait until school open before I go by Cressy, because Cressy is this man, so I take a bus and I go by Cressy home, I bring them medals, and I say, well, so I got 2 medals and thing, and actually he was quite pleased. And then, I mean, I expected the man to give me a praise and thing, and his words to me was, this is good, but your first priority is your schoolwork. Those were his words to me, right? Inside the living room. And he reminded me that my priority and my first focus should be on my school work.
Okay.
And things like that, it shows you how these people, the line of thought. Yes,
at that time,
they would love you to do well in sports, but that one important thing, you can't afford to forget that. And Dodo spoke about religious studies. I remember doing Latin with Cressy, and Latin the period was 10 to 2 to 2:30. And in Simon you go, you sit on the pavilion and Cressy would come up, and 10 to 2 and Cressy would start, and then he would give you this story, that story, bring you all about. And then when about 25 passed, just for the bell to ring to go, and Cressy say, where did we leave off from last week?
I tell you, can't pass subject with Cressy.
And that is when the man started to teach you Latin. 25 past 2, where you're right, and you sit down there because last period, and all you're hearing is in the distance that bell will ring just so, because it's home you're thinking. And 25 past, and he wants to know, where did we leave off from last week?
All right.
It was beautiful. So folks, our telephone line is open. The number is 435-2041. You can give us a call and you can share with us maybe some memorable moments you had, or some memorable teacher. Actually, Livingston, earlier on Facebook, I saw someone had a post saying they had a picture of Glidon Christopher, saying best primary school teacher ever.
Great. That's nice.
Yeah. They also made a post about the principal of Convent Grenville. I forgot her name though.
I can see her, but I don't also remember her name.
Her name just. Yeah. No, she's from Munich. I just forget her name.
She's from Munich.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, so definitely, there are teachers who left a mark on students. Let me see. Someone says Mr. Robertin Hines, he had these eyes that can see 90 degrees. He did not miss anything, but he was special. He believes in you without you knowing. He still looks young. Hats off. Well, I don't know, Mr. Robert. I'm not sure.
Guys, there was a teacher in the Anglican school. She's actually from Bonnet, St. Mark's. Teacher Alison Dubois. A lot of people, I mean, like people like Elizabeth Forsyth would have been taught by her. She taught me also. She has a daughter, Asha Dubois, that teaches at convent right now in St. George's. So it's someone who would have taught quite a number of generations of students. And she seemed to be someone who has left some really indelible marks on people. You hear a lot of people talking about Teacher Allison. She taught me in Standard 1. She was one of my favorite teachers. Because she was so motherly, she was so caring, and I'm sure at the time when she was teaching, she was young, but she always seemed like an older person, Her daughter and I were in class together, so she obviously was a young person at the time, but because she would have started teaching so early, she seemed like she was there for so long. But I never forget her. And there's another one, Teacher Winifred Dragon and Heather Small. They taught together in Standard 2, and teachers again who are just so caring about their students. And then when we go to the Anglican High School, she had a sister, both Miss Forsyth and Heather Small have a sister called Pansy Hoston. She taught at the Anglican High School, again, another motherly person. These are people that you can never forget because they would have impacted your lives, not just academically, but socially. And, how is it that the person that you are today? And yes, when you see them, you still want to be that little girl, that little innocent girl in school. You just want to please them. You want them to know that you are doing well and you have done well and you will continue to do well. So, yeah. And there's quite a lot of them. Teacher Osbot, that was a teacher that used to beat. When I went to the Anglican school in Guelph, he was the Standard 5 at the time teacher, the common entrance class teacher, very strict. Don't ask about tables and all that. I mean, he is one of, like what Dodo talk about, the teachers that you have this little fear for when you see them, because they were so strict and all about discipline. Yeah, so.
We see somebody want to know if you remember the feeding center in high school. We used to sell lunch for 25 cents, a quarter for lunch.
It's not high school, it's Anglican school.
Anglican school?
Yeah, it's Anglican school. The building is still there. The building is still there.
See how the brain does work? I see Anglican and I just add high.
Yeah, that's the building is still there, but last time I checked, I think they were doing classes in there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Last time I checked. I don't know if it's still operational, but last time I checked, they were doing classes in there.
What else to sell there?
Lunch for a quarter.
Pig snot and snow ice. That is just for all year. It was a lot cheap.
But I believe that is a common thing in Guam.
I can't blame all you.
I hear pig snot and snow ice.
We have a caller.
Godfrey, I'll ask you a question.
Yeah.
Well, I have two questions. It's a phenomenon. Why is it that all your teachers, especially them missing them in ABC, going to that kindergarten, that school. So why is it that you call these teachers, teacher this and teacher that, but higher up, Miss and so on?
Yeah.
And true. Secondly, you know what I found strange? St. David's. In St. David's, all teacher this and teacher that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, from time he hardly had you miss. That's why you see a teacher. ID they look at them Mr. This and Mr. That. As a matter of fact, the other time, Lady Cheryl, we go in a workshop. We have a workshop in a Calypso workshop. So, Lady Cheryl want to address Mr. Elvis Moore. Yeah, Lady Cheryl, Teacher Elvis. We start to pause back.
Why you don't call Teacher Elvis?
You call it Teacher Elvis. That is how they calling them St. Davis.
But let me ask. Could it be some of these teachers have they have they transitioned from primary to secondary, or I mean it doesn't matter?
Boy, I don't know, no, but I teacher no.
Teacher
is a teacher that too.
Yeah, the culture there.
That's the culture.
To me, in the primary school, the teacher continued because we used to say teacher husband, teacher son, you know. But yeah, there was some that was Mr. as well because there was Mr. Passy, Mr. Alexis. So, but you are right. When in the kindergarten, the ABC levels, it was teacher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, teacher. Teacher this and teacher that.
Yeah, I even now.
Now there's aunties. Everybody's auntie. Have you noticed?
I don't hear that much.
I'm
not hearing that auntie much at all.
No, that's a new thing, especially
auntie?
If you have like teachers that are assistants. You know what I'm talking about? They're called aunties now.
Yeah. Let's go to the telephone on that note. Let's see who is it.
Yeah, I think so.
Y'all are old school.
We culture. Good evening.
Hi. Good night.
Good evening.
Reece.
Hi.
A pleasant night to you. And I think the building that you are speaking about, like the feeding center, it is now housing on the spot.
Okay.
All right, that's the one at Grove, just as you enter into School Lane.
So
right, so it's now housing
all the way there.
Yeah, because on the spot. The storeroom is on the front. Is the street on St. Peter's Street where the gas station enters just before the Roman Catholic Church.
That's not St. Peter's Street. That's St. Dominic Street.
St. Dominic Street. Sorry, St. Dominic Street. Sorry.
Yeah.
And so where the church is there, it's that building just before there. That's the storeroom, but the cash office is where the feeding center was. And the correction
speaks for legacy.
And Mr. Scholar, let me tell you something. Brother George didn't just jump to principal like that. Brother George used to teach geography and history. And afterwards, he went to study in the U.S. And it's after he returned, he became principal.
Okay.
So take that correction. He didn't just jump to principal. Mr. Hudson McPhail was principal after Brother Melvin Shaper left. Brother George went to study at that time. And after Mr. McPhail would have retired as principal, I think Mr. McPhail went to Happy Hill Secondary. And then Brother George returned as principal of St. John's Christian Secondary, Shaper. Bye-bye. Have a nice night. Godfrey, be good. Chrissy should have benched you for the Latin.
No, he benched me once, you know. They used to call me multiple 12 after I get the bench.
I think we'll have to check the transcripts because I don't think I said that.
No, you didn't say.
You said that he would have taught there.
Yeah, you basically just showed how he walked his way.
I think but I didn't know about the going to study.
The USA, right?
I didn't know that, because he taught there.
Yeah.
But we could check the transcript. I don't feel I don't feel let's the computer.
No, the computer. Somebody says,
you know, Godfrey. One of those things, and then we never used to. We didn't mention in terms of the quality of the good teacher. Is that a lot of teachers used to spend extra time on their own without paid, giving lessons, etc.
Yeah.
And somebody that came to mind is this. We used to just call him from Homage School, Zando. I think it happened in all schools.
Mm-hmm.
You had teachers that would stay back and give lessons, and I think scholar, I don't know, Reece, at the early part, it was their free time.
Yeah, especially actually. Yes, and also because I remember Miss John, she used to give common entrance class early in the morning. So you would go early, like those of you in common entrance class, you go early and you could get
half an hour.
You get Miss John, and in the afternoon now then you have the common entrance teacher. Who would so you because I remember Miss John used to teach us in the ABC building in Tivoli. You know the ABC building, right?
That Miss Alexander.
No, man.
Alexander used to be the
teacher
Alexander.
Not Miss Alexander. It's teacher Alexander.
Okay.
Teacher Alexander. Actually, in Tivoli there was some people. For example, you had teacher Alden, you had teacher Maudlin, but you had Miss St. John.
Miss St. John was strict.
But you see, and that's the thing. That's where I don't understand it. So you had teacher Maudlin, teacher Arlene, Miss St. John. Then you had then there was Basil Bonstein's sister, who used to teach in Tivoli as well. We used to call her Miss Kellys. Yeah. Then who else? Then there are quite a few. But quickly, and I'm going to go to the call. Someone mentioned it earlier, and I want to talk about it. That balance between male and female teachers. In our time, I think there was a good balance.
Yeah.
Now there are schools where you don't even see males in.
Actually, there are schools with 22 teachers and there are only 2 males.
Yeah.
There's one school that have right now 22 teachers, and there are just 2 males.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like we're becoming extinct in that profession.
In a lot of profession.
No, a lot of professions.
Yep. Let's go to the telephone. We Culture. Good evening. Hello. Yeah. Please turn the volume of your device down, caller.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Good night.
Yeah, turn the volume of your TV or your radio down, please.
Right. Are you hearing me better?
Yes.
Tell me something. Why the name had to change from teacher to Miss or Mister? Why the change? I mean, I just asking that. Thanks.
Okay. Well, I think scholar asked it first. We tried to figure it out. Why Miss and the teacher and things like that. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the relationship. I have no idea.
I don't understand it too. And your school and you just pick it up and you run with it.
Yeah.
That's what you do. So just as you were explaining there, we had the same thing. You had teacher Faith too. You had teacher Paul. You had teacher an next one or she lived in stage 3. But then in the same ABC you have Miss John.
Yeah.
I never know what was Miss John first name, but you had Miss John. She was not teacher whatever.
Scholar, in terms of the myths of mysteries, when some persons get married, instead of teacher this, usually that is when they start introducing the new.
I was about to say that. I want to believe it has something to do with marriage, maybe.
At that time. I mean, now it doesn't make a difference now. I mean, I guess, but usually most of those, I don't know, Godfrey, Miss Alexander, I don't know if she was, but usually Miss John, she got married.
Yeah, and her name,
Teacher Arlene was not married at that time.
No,
I think when they get married, then they say, okay, I am Miss so and so. So you learn you start following it by the.
And it was a form of teaching students as well. So for example, you know, they were the what do you call them? Them thing. I forget the name for them, like Mr., Mrs., and so on and so on. So it was also a form of teaching to show the difference between. Right.
All right. True. Well, I guess that means St. David's teachers never married.
that one has to do with the culture of St. David's secondary school, I think. Yeah.
No, they can't fight it. They can't fight it.
Let's take another phone call. We culture. Good evening.
Hello, good night.
Yeah, good evening.
Good night.
How you do?
But I'm just there holding on, man.
Teacher, they used to call you Teacher Marshall or Mr. Marshall?
Listen carefully. When they say teacher, this should have been the word attached to the Christian name of the person. When they say Miss or Mr., that would have been attached to his surname, generally.
Right.
For instance, at school, I might have been referred to as Mr. Marshall or Teacher Franklin. But Teacher Franklin and Mr. Marshall is the same. But they use Mr. against surname and teacher against the first name or Christian name. Generally, that's what used to happen. And as a matter of fact, in the long and distant past, the strap seemed to have been a symbol of authority. Not with malicious intention when a teacher used the strap, but the philosophy at the time that prevailed was that the strap seemed to be an essential tool for discipline. You understand? And as a matter of fact, you had good teachers, you had indifferent teachers, you had no good teachers. And I mean, I trained teachers for about 12 years, and I supervised teachers for about another 12 years. Okay? Sometimes you see on a Monday morning, some middle teachers come to school more drunk than anything else. You understand? It's like one time on 2 different schools, I went there, and I went maybe half an hour after school should have started, secondary school, and they are all gated. But I see lots of students outside the gate. What you doing there? We come late and the security lock us out. But while I in the school, the teachers come in late too. So in one school, I went to the principal. I say, "Hello, Mr. So-and-so." He say, "Yes, Mr. Marshall." I see other students outside. What's the problem? I talk to them and they come in late. I see 2 teachers just come in late. And one of them I know from Victoria. And she always have a car. But she always late. I say, open the school gate and let the students in. Let us teach by example. Okay? Not what we see, but what we do. And that's critical. In some schools I was not. When they saw my car, they would, for instance, I remember in a school, I said to the principal, they all called her name a while ago, how is the time book? Do you regular check the time book for me, please, to make sure that teachers' punctuality, is up to date and the like? Yes, Mr. Marshall, I always do. I say, okay, sit and get the time book for me. So he called the secretary, go in the staff room and get the time book. And I'm in the office with the principal talking with him. But I find 10 minutes past, 15 minutes past, I say, wait. The teacher do take a bus and go and look for the time book. So I go straight to the staff room. I see about 20 teachers line up, one behind the other, waiting to write in time. I say, you're too damn dishonest. Give me the book. I grab the book in the hand. And some teachers for 2 weeks never wrote in the time after they arrived at the school. And I go in the principal office now. I say, look at that. I say, why don't you all do your work, man? Why don't you all do your work? Okay? As a matter of fact, you are the principal. You represent the ministry in the school. also we should make sure that the ministry's policy is fully carried out. How can teachers be just writing long time for last week when they come? They know what time they come, they can remember what time they come. And these are some of the things, So you have good teachers. There were some brilliant teachers. Time didn't matter for them. They were there long before school began. And they were there long after school hours would have expired. Okay? Brother George was a primary school student that dropped out from the St. Mark's RC school. And Melville Shepherd would have come from the States and started a religion. And that religion was the vehicle for the population accumulation of the St. John's Christian Secondary. And Brother George was a kind of adopted child of Melville Shepherd and the religion, very close to them. And with that, he got his secondary schooling there, and eventually it was the church that sent him to the United States to do a degree, so he can come back and take over. Anyway, let me not disturb you all too much. I enjoy any old jokes you all give me there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm sure Mr. Marshall enjoyed reminiscing on that licks used to
I wanted to ask him how much licks he passed to the man that I wanted to ask the man that.
But the man spoke about it already at times, Scholar.
That's why the person you are today.
Scholar, he tell him about it already, and
Mr. Marshall apologized.
And he apologized on the program too.
What I wanted to ask Mr. Marshall is why you just make yourself so scarce?
Yeah.
Mr. Marshall to stop that. Scarce on the program. Just can we come back and get teaching and hear nice things.
No, Mr. Marshall, he listening.
Teaching him.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm trying to make some contribution about that Marvel show,
Well, yeah.
Probably some kind of leaks for that Marvel.
I don't talk about Marvel again. I stopped talking about Marvel. Anyway, let me take some Facebook comments. You have a lot of Facebook comments. And then you come back and
Michael John is saying Dalton is not rabies, he's rabies kick. The original rabies was an insurance man from Livera. Dodo is saying no, not Mr. Mark I was referring to, is this one from conference. Susan Clark is saying I enjoy learning Latin from Mr. Julian, that's Creswell. Nestor is saying scholar.
Susan had to stop that.
What?
Susan had to stop that. Susan could never enjoy learning Latin. I don't care what Susan said. She could never enjoy learning Latin from Christy.
Why not Godfrey Young that jokes Christy used to give?
Yeah, but starting class 2:30, when he had to go home, whatever. Anyway, go ahead.
Scholar Jose wants to know why some principals soak their belts in pee to bench students. I hope the belt is dripping with pee when they bench Jose. I hope you get good pee leaks.
The belt does swell, when you soak the belt,
Yeah, that's why you just swell and when you soak it in there when you bad.
What is you?
Yeah. I used to hear that about the past principal in the Anglican school, Mr. Peters. Dodo is saying, I must say we must give the teachers credit. Some of them had a real patience. Man, some children head was hard. David is saying, good night, we culture. Over the years, teachers have played an important role in the development of the nation's young people. Let's see. A lot of people are laughing. Jose is saying, I remember Mr. Carly John will close the door where just he can fit in and ring the 1 a.m. bell. 1 a.m.? What time Jose used to go to school? Anyways.
Oh, there's a go to school out.
And we'll wait with his bell to give you one and pass to get into the door where he was. Listen, I'm trying to, let me kill the visual. Jenny says, Scholar, you have jokes. I am still laughing at Mr. George. He put him in and he could take him out. Jose saying, remember in McDonald College, because I live close to the beach, I will run and take a quick duck before going to school. And Mr. Duncan will come and open your eyes because it was red from the sea salt and accuse you of smoking weed. Dodo is saying, best primary school teacher for me was Sayo, Mr. Marast. And she's also saying, you all remember Robo? I don't talk.
Rabo.
Rabo. Okay.
Yes.
Jose said, Reece, yesterday was International Teachers Day, and as my favorite Friday night lady, I want to say happy belated Teachers Day, and I meant it with all seriousness. But you know, I used to teach. Then again, his whole family is involved. Deborah is saying, Mr. Taylor, Mr. Hamlet, Mr. Donnell, and the boss, Mr. Creswell Julian, if you were sassed. Erlin is saying, I noticed 2 weeks now I can't get week culture. I want my notification, please. Okay. Dodo is saying, with all said tonight, we appreciate our teachers. They don't just teach, they prepare the students for the road ahead. And she's also saying, yes, Doc, some teachers used to do that. Jenny said, all you make my night. Plenty laughter. After all these years, Lady Cheryl still saying Teacher Elvis. Gloria said, receipt is called Women's Liberation. Due respect to you men. Cynthia is saying, in primary school, we had Mr. Telesford was head teacher. Miss Moore, not married, was standard 4. All other teachers were called teacher. Cynthia is saying, in convent, we had mother superior or sister, and lay teachers were Miss or Mr. Michael John is saying, my days, teachers was called teacher and headmaster was called Mr. Ronnie Slinger is saying, I think the teachers that did art and played music was the better teachers overall. Mr. Harris, principal of Wesley Hall, in my time, strict but had the best assembly, playing his guitar as we sang. Made us forgot about the belt we got for dog ears books. And Jenny Purcell is saying, Lottie Scholar, don't make me laugh again. Maybe St. David teachers does not get married, so their name doesn't change. Jose said, I think saying teacher was something we adopted from the elder folks, that when one became a teacher in the days, teacher was added to that person's first name as Teacher Desmond. But as time goes on, younger students became teachers. The word Mr. and Mrs. was introduced. Now he says 1 p.m. Don't try that. Just as yes, some people that went to school in August, you went to school at 1 a.m. And I'm sticking with that. 1 a.m. Jose went to school. 1 a.m.
So
that was a new name.
Jose did not order.
1 a.m. But as you mentioned new name there, recently a Kaizo. And you guys And you have a new Kaizo?
Who have a new Kaizo?
Why somebody have a new Kaizo? Now, as a scholar mentioned new name, and I have a new tune out? Scholar, you ain't yet? Yeah, a song for independence. It's Maddie song is Sylvester. Anyway, we go talk about that song after. Somebody says, Mr. Ashby is the only man who used to go to the beach well dressed with long sleeve shirt. Someone said, Mr. Marshall on 2 occasions tried to teach me woodwork at the Guave Anglican School. Seems that was not his forte. Somebody said, right. I really did enjoy my stint as a teacher at McDonald College, and yes, I was brother and father to many students. Yes, Livingston, that is so true. I used to have evening and night classes in geography and chemistry with some of the students at the school.
Who's that? Who's saying that?
Springer.
Oh.
Partner Springer.
I'm going to teach me. I'm going to teach her.
Springer?
Yeah, man.
Springer, my real partner, you know.
I'm going to teach her, boy.
Alright. Good night. Principal of SJC Grenville is Miss Linda Francis. Okay, that was the name I was trying to remember.
Yes, Linda Francis.
Yes. Yes, Scholar. Yes, Scholar is correct. That's the culture in St. David's. All teachers are called teacher this and teacher that, even in the secondary school. Well, Scholar, a lot of people, I don't know if plenty of people know that. Then someone says, right, in GBSS, Mr. Val, Francis used to say, don't play stupid, play bright. And Mr. George Brizan used to say, boys get bright. Right, I think, let's see. Yeah, so that's.
Francis used to say, you have arrived.
You've arrived, yes. Right. So that's all the comments on the WhatsApp platform. So it's just about time for us to wrap up. Guys, almost 10, guys. Always such a pleasure. So Reece, the last shall be first.
Yeah. I was really looking forward to this program to really talk about, all these teachers that we would have passed through, the teachers who would have impacted our lives and stuff like that. But the company, the company just keep treating me bad. Well, they kind of give me a break for a while, but they start back again. Anyways, it was really nice reminiscing on school days, on teachers, on situations, the humor, the strictness, the discipline, everything. And I can safely say that children of today have missed out on a whole era. As far as I'm concerned, on these kinds of motherly, grandmotherly type of teachers that we had, that took us into our bosoms and just molded us. Today I'm quite aware that we have a lot of motherly teachers too, but I find too that we have a lot of teachers that are using teaching really as a stepping stone to get where they really want to go. So they may not percentage to percentage, be as motherly as we probably would have experienced, fatherly too, with teachers of the past. But all in all, I can speak for my children's teachers. They've had very good teachers in most instances, and I really appreciate that. And I appreciate that teachers are the second parents of our children. So enough respect to them. When they're in their care, they are in charge, and that's how I roll with it. So happy belated World Teachers Day to all teachers of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique, and the world over. What would the world be without teachers? Teachers are necessary, and they should get anything that they ask for. I declare they should get anything that they ask for.
Doc.
As an end, I just want to recognize that one, I've been, of course, Tivoli. I think I mentioned a lot of the names through Tivoli School. I am really thankful for all the teachers that played, they probably the smallest role, all those that play any role at all in helping to mold me one way or the other. And then I went on to SAS, and I'm extremely grateful for those that again embraced me, corrected me, and showed me the way. So I want to publicly thank all those teachers to those two institutions. I taught at Hermitage for a number of years, and I must highlight the role played by the principal, Greta Franklin. I think she was an amazing woman, amazing principal. I mean, in every sphere, she wanted to see the school, go forward, move on. And I think that is the hallmark of a good teacher, a good principal. And I wish we could have more. Teachers are the new parents. The days when we used to say, take a village to go up a child, that is now becoming less effective. So the teachers now have to play a greater role in impacting culture and morale and character, etc. We should say everything they ask for, they should be given. I believe more should be given. One, to enlighten, to enrich, both mentally and also physically, financially, the teachers that are having to mold our teachers, our children. So I definitely believe that there is a need for us to show a lot of respect for them and to do more to have them empowered so that we can have a better nation going forward. I think that is it.
Yeah. Scholz?
It was a good discussion, and as we see said, I would like to wish all the teachers of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique belated Happy World Teachers Day. I think having a day for teachers is not even enough to show our gratitude for what we owe teachers. And as Reece said, give teachers all what they want. You know, the funny thing is that you've always heard there is always sentiment expressed that once a teacher leaves teaching and they end up in the ministry, as a Marshall used to be principal and he end up in the ministry. Once they end up in the ministry, they don't pressing teachers.
Well, Finley talking from experience, I learned that.
And it's not experience attacking, there's always been that sentiment among teachers that once they end up in ministry, they don't press it. Because I know when I was a teacher, I didn't like education officer and things because, I mean,
they don't press you.
They don't press you. No teacher being education officer is all bald head, you know. And the funny thing is, you know, it's a strange thing, you know, Godfrey, because the children believe that the teacher is a bald head.
Yeah.
You're pressing them. Then some of the teachers believe the principal and then the principal believe the ministry oppressing them, you know? And then the ministry believe that whoever on top of them oppressing them. So it's just it's just a ripple thing. Mm-hmm. People always believe, and there was always that belief, and we never knew that by even the education officers for themselves who are teachers before they get in the tail, you know. I know there was an education officer, for example, when pressure so that man so forget all kind of thing. Sometimes he leaving from Guav man. That man so leave from Guav. He going in St. Mark's Secondary School to go and watch teachers. And he driving Guav. When he reaches Shanty Mel, he say, Bonji. I pass St. Mark's, turn and he go down. When you reach Maran up there, what the hell is that? In between that two places all day and never going to St. Mark's. That pressure, that's how it is. But teaching is a noble profession. Godfrey, I live for this once a teacher, always a teacher. I could never don't press teachers. Mm-hmm. I can't see it. Because I understand the true worth of a teacher and I know what teachers just go through.
Yeah.
And the thing is that, but as parents, we can't deal with one child.
Exactly.
We start when school opening to send them back and teachers to do 30 something of them. Mm-hmm. You see? Mm-hmm. So it's always true. And as I close, I want to tip my hat to there was a teacher that had a profound effect on me, saved my life as a matter of fact. A lady called Mrs. King. Godfrey, you know who is Mrs. King?
Yep.
Right. I just call her the female king. She's the wife of Pastor King. And I could never forget we were in grade in Form 4. And idleness, you know, we playing cricket with stone in class. By batting and I hit the stone. He bangs the wall, rebound and he take out the old eye. And that same Miss Duncan here, how they call him, speak about Duncan. O.C. Duncan was the principal. And Duncan decided he can't take it because he gave her too little trouble before. So Duncan decided, nah, that you have to take your marching orders. And Miss King said, nah, leave him to me. He will not get any trouble again. I swear by him, you know. And every time I remember why Miss King put her neck on the block for me. Every time I want to get trouble, I don't give in. Because I don't want to let her down. Because I don't want to let her down. And then, funny enough, I went back to teaching St. Martin College. So I became a teacher with Miss King. And everything Miss King tell me to do, I run in and do it, you know. Miss King can tell me to do nothing, I don't do it. But she never knew why. Mm-hmm. Until recently, and the funny thing, and that's what is punishing and just teacher. She never remembered. She never remembered that she did this. Mm-hmm. But I remember.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's why as a teacher sometimes you have to understand and know how you're treating children, because the funny thing is that it's good that you do for them.
Yeah, it stays. It does.
Yes, it impacts them profoundly.
And while you forget, they don't.
They don't.
That's it.
The same way, the bad that you do them, they ain't forgetting you. And when they big, they want to hide to eat your bad stone.
So what you want to do, Mr. Marshall?
Well, I used to want to hide to Mr. Marshall a bad stone. Yes. Yes, I used to want to Mr. Marshall a bad stone until I became a teacher and I sort of forget that. And then there was a teacher of mine in National College, IFE at that time, called Jacinta Dabo. I don't know where that lady is now. When I left IFE, I never set eyes on her again ever in my life, but wherever you are, Jacinta Dabo, you had a profound effect on me. And when I became a teacher, I became a small Jacinta Dabo. I taught exactly as Jacinta Dabo taught.
Mm-hmm.
Up to now, if I step into a classroom, it's Jacinta Dabo teaching us.
So there's a Jacinta Dabo protocol.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She has such a profound effect on me. I never forgot it.
You know, guys, I mean, you've said so much. I don't know what I could say now that could make any difference, but I want to join y'all in, definitely saluting teachers, because I too, like y'all, understand the kind of role that they play, and even sometimes as parents, when you have to interface with teachers, as it relates to the children's performance. Sometimes you have children in school, they come and tell you one thing, and then when you go and you actually talk to a teacher, it's a completely different story kind of thing. And so all of that, and parents also need to stop for a moment and give a thought to the work of a teacher. It's not just, and Doc, we spoke about it very early when we began. It's not just the education or imparting that knowledge or trying to explain what is written in a textbook for your child, but that all wrong, the shaping of the child is so very important, and I could remember a lot from Tivoli School. People like Mr. Taylor, Augustine Taylor, I think he's since passed. We mentioned Mr. Mark or Miss John, Mr. Andal, all of these people. And in SAS, of course, one of the teachers who played such a key role in my life, Mr. Glean, I could never forget him, both in academics and in sports. I remember once when I was doing pre-Cambridge English, and when we did that exam, and I saw my mark, I said, Mr. Glean, that, and I ain't gonna tell all you, but actually I got the highest mark. And the highest mark are still in pass. Still in pass. Mr. Glean, I said, Mr. Glean, Mr. Glean watched me and he said, better you get that now than you get when you do the exam. And I went and I did, but he selected his people who he knew was able to, and I think, and I was able to pass English. And when these things happen and you reflect, you realize the wisdom of these people. Sometimes even you as a student, you don't even understand your potential, because a teacher gives you something, you do it, but the teacher sees way beyond that. So Mr. Glean, tonight I salute you always for that shaping, the encouragement, the advice, and everything else, and all the other teachers, Mr. Donald as well, Francis Julian, and there's so many others, so many others. So teachers, we salute you, we thank you, and we want to also encourage you to continue doing what you're doing, and still ask that you do a little more. Guys, thank you all very much. We're looking forward to next Friday, or we do next week. We playing ball. Anyway,
I'll start making me coconut butter.
Is that I have no practice. Well, pumpkin must bowl, but if fast bowl.
I already need a fit already. You need to practice again.
You fit already? I'll keep. I will keep. I will the keeper.
well, we could call it now. You used to call it in thing. So bata.
Yeah. So you batting?
I'm a bowler.
Doc is the bowler. Scholar batting. I is the keeper. Receive you score or you umpire?
Oh no, when you receive a bat,
I'm umpire.
No. I ain't trust you umpiring. Yeah, I know some umpires just appeal and put out man one time, before the ball touch.
Yes, I say I'm umpiring and I'm umpiring.
No, well, Richie could umpire. Once I batting, Richie could umpire. I'm making sure I could miss out and
that's no ice. You understand? That's
never out. But you know, missing out, that's no ice.
Anyway, guys.
You never missing out, though.
How you mention about this out? Yeah, we. You see how it's now?
No.
No way.
Since you born, you understand?
Since I'm born, I have not been eating meat. Yes.
Anyway, guys, have a good night. Till next week. Thank you, folks. Thank you, everyone. Facebook, TV, radio. Do have a good night and enjoy the weekend. All the best.
A little more, a little more Shango.